Hey there, it's Amanda. This video is from a Facebook Live video. I do those every Tuesday at 2 o'clock over on my Facebook page. And we are going to learn how to mute or desaturate color in this video. So I hope you enjoy it and you learn something new. Hey everyone, I hope you're having a good day and you are not frozen. It's cold here in Florida, so I know it's cold everywhere north of us. This is our Tuesday at 2 live video time, and today we're going to talk about color and your style. So if you are here and you can hear me okay, let me know. And let me know in the comments what it's like where you are. Are you hunkered down in your house with snow all around, or what? We actually had a few little flurries here today, which is crazy. But anyway, we're going to talking about winter weather and stuff. This painting here is a landscape, and it's supposed to be like a winter scene, and that is the January tutorial in my creative club. So if you want to learn to paint something similar to that, then you can join my creative club, and it is $18 a month. You get a new painting tutorial each month. Lynn says it is 46 in Georgia with no snow. Monica says it's cold in South Louisiana. It's cold in the panhandle of Florida too. I think it's going to be like, I think they said 16 is the low tonight, so which is crazy. But speaking of this painting here, we're going to start talking about our topic for today, which is color and your style. And all of these here are my paintings, and you can probably tell that as far as color goes, I tend to move toward like a more muted palette, and muted by that I mean pastel colors, not bright and bold color. And last week when we had our time here, I showed you how to make a color wheel. You can still go back and watch that. It's still here on my Facebook page. But one of the things that we did was we mixed, let me just show you. We mixed the bright, highly saturated colors, and then we mixed a little bit of white and tinted them and made more of like a pastel color. And those are the colors that I am more drawn to myself. For example, this little globe that I did here, those are going to be more pastel, muted colors. And when we were doing this whole color mixing thing last week, someone mentioned that they had never thought about the fact that color played a part in your style, the way that you paint. And I know that's especially for those of us who have probably more for those of us who have or consider themselves self-taught. They didn't go to art school. I would say finding your style is something that, and it's probably the same for those who went to art school too. I don't know, because I didn't. But finding your style is one of those things that we're constantly worried about and think about probably a little bit too much. But color can be part of your way of expressing yourself in your own style, in your own voice. And it's a pretty easy thing for you to begin with, to pull everything together in your head and think, okay, how do I paint? What is my thing? How do I do this in a way that is just for me? And for me, personally, what I like is this muted palette. So, like for example, this is very subdued in color palette. And this was the beautiful bouquet challenge that we did. And these colors are also very, to me, they're very calming, not bright and bold. You know, there's some psychology in there too. Here's another one that is very muted. Some of them you might consider a little more moody. This one is a little happier in the color palette, but it's still pretty much neutral, subdued, muted color. And I actually had someone to tell me recently that they wish that I would paint in brighter, bolder colors. And those of you who are looking for your own style, I know there are some of you who follow me who have asked me this recently. It's going to be very tempting for you, especially if you're posting your work on social media, to cater to what everybody else is wanting. So 4 or 5 years ago, I would have taken that comment that that person made and let it really bother me, think about it too much, start trying to paint things in bright colors, knowing that I didn't really like it, but I thought I was doing it for a good reason, which would be because someone else wanted me to, or I thought maybe if I paint in brighter, bolder colors, more people will buy my work. But that was just one person that said that. And what I want you to know is if you want to paint work, paint things that you really like, that you're going to be really excited about, that you're going to be proud of, then you got to paint stuff that you like. And it's going to begin with your color choices. In my opinion, that's one of the things that is going to make your work different from anyone else's. You may gravitate to some of the same color palettes that I do, but when you're mixing up your paint, your mix is going to be a little different than anyone else's. So when you're beginning to try to do things differently, be a little bit brave, get outside of the step-by-step lesson where you're told to use an exact number brush, an exact color palette, and you're wanting to really figure out what is yours, what is something that you can do that would be different, that would make it something that you would hang in your own house. That's one way to look at it too, to think about it. So let's talk about muted color. I'm going to try to turn my camera down over my table. And if muted colors are something that you like also, then let's just talk about how to do that. Okay, hang with me for just a second. Let's see if this is gonna work. Maybe it will. I'm gonna need to close my blind because that sunshine is gonna be too much. So, all right, I see someone just said they like muted colors also. So, liking some of the same things does not mean that you're copying someone else. So let's not think that. So let's say that, let me get my light over here, hang on. Let's say that you are working on your color palettes and you got your color wheel out and you like these pastel colors, but they are still, I need to do my nails, I know, so don't look at my nails. But you still want it to be a little less bold and bright. What you need to do is mix up a color that is the opposite of the color that you're wanting. I'm going to show you what I mean. Let's do this with some, let's go with some blue. And if you have your color wheel, you could look at what you've already made. But if you have your color wheel like this, it's going to tell you exactly what to do. So let's say, what did I get? Blue. We want to use blue, but we don't want it to be this bright. That's just too much for us, even when we put a little bit of white in it. And so what you need to do is look at your color wheel and see, it says right here, complementary. What color is complementary to blue? And it's orange. If you mix a little bit of orange or a little bit of brown into your blue, it is going to mute that color. So any color on your wheel, you mix it with the opposite. If it's violet, mix it with yellow. If it's red, mix it with some green, and that is going to desaturate it, is what it's called. It's called desaturation. And so let's just get out some blue paint. And what do we need to mix with it if we want it to be muted? We need some orange or some brown. So let's see if I can find something. Not raw sienna. Burnt sienna is a brown on the red side of brown. So let's just do that. First of all, let me grab my paper towel. Okay, so first of all, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. I'll move it down a little bit more. Okay, let's just make a big spot of blue. So this is cerulean blue. And when I'm painting, I'm not going to want to use a blue that is quite that bright. So if I were doing a sky or something like that, then that is not going to make me happy. This is a blue that I used in actual painting, and you can see the difference. This is muted, this is not. You may like this, and I'm not telling you that this is wrong. I'm just showing you how to mute it if you want to. So I'm mixing a little bit of that burnt sienna in there. And then this is what we get as a result. And you can do that with any color, any color. You can also mix a little bit of white in there, and that's going to give you different values for the muted color that you just did. So you can have, let me mix that, have a lighter version of it to use in your painting. So a lot of times, like if I'm doing a sky, or really that's the only thing that I do that's blue, I'm gonna almost always mute. Actually, I do it with all colors. I mute them. That's just the way that I paint. But it's super easy to do. You don't have to have a gazillion colors either. There's no reason for you to go and buy a whole bunch of different colors of paint. You really only have to have red, blue, yellow, black, and white, in my opinion. And you can mix anything. But there are certain colors like burnt sienna that I like to just have because it's already mixed up for me. And you can make your own burnt sienna, but you don't have to. So this is how I come up with color palettes for myself. And let me turn this back this way slowly. Maybe it won't mess up. So when I'm planning a painting or thinking about a painting, or sometimes when I'm just painting and I don't really know what's going to happen, because that's what happens most of the time. I always desaturate my colors or mute my colors. I almost never paint anything that is directly from the tube, the paint coming out of the tube directly onto the canvas, that exact color. I'm almost always mixing it with something to desaturate it. And that has become part of my signature style. It doesn't mean that that's the only way to do it though. It just means that's what I choose to do, and what you choose to do will play a part in what you make that is yours, that's your signature, that you repeat. And it's usually because, it should be because that's what you like. And that's really the root of all of this. The signature style search, we're all seeking that, what is my style? How do I paint in my own voice? How do I make my work look different? How do I make sure that what I'm doing is not copying someone else? It all begins with, and it boils down to, you choosing the things that you like the best. You making the art the way you want to make it. You choosing the colors that you want to choose. And with this one example, what I tend to choose is the muted color palette. And I thought that that was something that maybe those of you who were looking for your style may not have thought of before, because someone mentioned that they had not thought of that before. But if you were to choose what kinds of colors you would use in your paintings, think about what colors do you use to decorate your home? Or maybe if you are shopping, what colors do you choose for clothing? Maybe even what color your car is, things like that. That's going to play a big part in your own style, your voice, your choices, because that's really what it's all about. So I hope this was helpful. It gave you a little something that you can take and go practice and play with and see what happens. Complementary color to a color that's right out of the tube. And play around with muted palettes, play around with bold palettes, play around with pastels or all neutrals or whatever it is that is appealing to you. And that will help you to really get an idea of what you like, because that's what a lot of us haven't really thought about. It's not so much about what everybody else is doing. It should be more about, what do you want to do? Also, I am working on a course to help you with finding your style. If you are a creative community member, you will get access to that course. I had thought about that. Most of the members who are in my creative community are ready. I think they're ready for something like this. It's not going to be a long, elaborate, drawn-out course. It's going to be about 4 modules. It's not going to be a super expensive, in-depth type thing, but it's going to help you to just kind of weed through things and help you to get an idea of, what does it even mean to find your style? Why do I need to find my style? How do I find my style? And how do I keep going once I have found it? So if you're interested in the style course, it should be ready sometime, maybe sometime next month. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I will put a link down below and you can jump on the wait list if you want to, and I will let those know who are on the wait list when it is ready. So I hope that this was something helpful for you today, and I will see you guys next week back here on Tuesday at 2. Bye.